Welcome in, everyone, to another week of One Piece. Today we have chapter 1068 in our grasp, and we also have another person in our grasp, and that person is Morge. Morge, would you like to introduce yourself to the stream?
Damn, I took off my sweater, but I have the Morge merch to
Do you really?
Yeah, you want me to
Oh, you should have wore it. Oh, I should have briefed you on this.
Yeah,
that's fine. Oh, he's gonna get the sweater. All right, brief cut. Is that actually Morge merch?
Yeah, this is from Morge.
Oh my gosh. All right, we have the official Morge here. Wow.
This is Morge. Yep. How this can't be ParVision? Why would ParVision have Morge merch? Hello.
Yeah, it's like CP0 wearing the mask. Like, I don't know his identity anymore. It's up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Like Morge has a Par pillow because he's such a big Par fan. I mean, I have a Par pillow because I am such a Par fan, which is actually true. You can ask Morge. You can ask me about it on stream on Mondays at night. But Par, he's a great guy. Probably the best.
Par's a great guy. I could tell you're such a fan of his that you have his whole background there. You look just like him even. It's so crazy.
Crazy.
Well, Morge, let's get right into the chapter though. We have the cover page where we see Judge and Caesar, and they're throwing fists. They're pulling hair. They're choking each other out, and they're not really fighting, right?
Yeah,
we can agree on that. These are two friends having a little banter.
Yeah, I think
and they're reminiscing of Vega Punk, and we get a little bit of a retcon here, if I say so myself, because we see Vega Punk and we see the notorious tongue, and the shirt that he's wearing is the same shirt we see when we had that little foresight vision of him modifying Kuma, which ties back to like chapter 300 or 400 or one of those chapters. But yeah, Oda is retconning the shape of his body and tongue a little bit, which I don't mind. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
Like, I think that we called it last time that the way Judge and Caesar were squaring up, it was like a Zoro Sanji kind of fight where there's like, sure, Conqueror's Haki could be flying, but at the end of the day, they're just messing around kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then in this situation, one thing that's weird is either Judge has sea stone on him or he has armament, because there should not be a welt on Caesar, that was the glaring thing. I was like, wait a second, hold on.
But it's one of those meme warts though, right?
But he's
like Luffy gets this all the time. Like when Nami hits him, when Sanji hits him, like he always gets the bump. Like it's a gag more than anything. These are friends having a little fight.
True, that's fair, but I feel like it's weirder because with Luffy at least, like, he is still a body, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Caesar's actually air, like he
has a broken devil fruit. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, if I were to have a broken devil fruit, it might just be Caesar's. Like, it's so crazy strong.
Yeah, and something that I've been like,
guys literally gas.
Yeah, exactly. And something I've been a little bit more focused on, especially because the anime just showed Yamato in her wolf form, like in full form, fighting Kaido. And it was in the manga, but it wasn't like super focused on. It's the shawl cloak fire thing that Luffy gets in Gear 5. Yamato has, and people have brought that to my attention. And I was gonna make like a short video for this, but like Caesar also has that. And I'm like, is that a thing? Like, what is happening there?
So it looks like he has that too, but I think it's just I don't know. It looks like a hoodie more than anything on him.
Yeah.
And I just think it blends in with his jacket really well, where I think it's a hoodie more than a shoal.
Yeah.
But it could go either way. And I'm all about Caesar supremacy, so if he actually comes back into the story, I wouldn't mind that whatsoever.
Yeah. And like the other thing, I realized Germa's G is Germa GG? No, it's 6'6". 6'6", and then Caesar's CC on his gloves. That's kind of interesting. That was just like
6'6" CC. And then Vega Punk is VP or VG or something.
Interesting. But
they all have like their little logo. Queen doesn't have anything, does he?
Queen, we don't talk about
Queen is just there. He's a BP, Beast Pirate.
Yeah, we'll give him something. He joined the club.
Queen needs a victory, man. To
the bubble thing, I thought that was interesting because the outfit that Vega Punk was wearing, I actually just addressed that in my recent video on my channel, where on a year ago in my Vega Punk video, I said that the picture that Oda gave us was probably a misdirect, that Vega Punk would not look anything like that picture. Yeah. And it's like, because at the minimum, the proportions of the body were not right, but the minimum, there should have been a tongue running through it, and Oda was just hiding that from us, right? But what's weird about this, speaking of hiding things, is who are the silhouettes and why is that a thing?
Judge and Caesar. I think the silhouettes are Judge and Caesar.
That's what I think too, but like, why hide it?
Because they look goofy, bro. Like,
so then why hide and show it to us?
No, but because he's waiting for the Vegapunk Mads flashback. Like, if Oda wanted to, he could have shown us Vegapunk up there. He could have showed the face. We know what Vegapunk looks like. Why hide it? He's hiding the flash. He's teasing it. He's teasing it.
Let me ask
you, Caesar looks like a dweeb. Like,
fair. Like, but why is that needed to be just as a joke to hide their silhouette?
It's
we're hiding Eam in the last saga and they're what they look like in the past. Like,
yes.
My thing is, right, with the Mads team at this point, with the Mads team, their flashback is like not even super necessary, because we saw Vegapunk on Ohara. We see the results of everything. Like, is it super necessary for that flashback? I would argue no. Will we get it? Maybe, probably. Will I enjoy it? Yes.
It could tie into like how he figures out the meaning of devil fruits and like what their true nature really is. Maybe he got a hint. Like,
that's
I
the
feel like
cloning
that's
stuff
a flashback
that they
we're gonna get.
Like, sure. That okay? Maybe they figure out the lineage factors then, and they were treading on the realm of godhood. Sure, but let me ask you: which would you rather have, that flashback or the Kaido flashback?
I'd rather have that flashback.
Really?
I want to see what Laser Loun and Ludge looks like back in the past.
Took me a second to register. I was like, what? Laser?
I replaced it with an L.
Yeah.
Because they look so goofy, bro. Judge, if that is Judge, of course. Like, we're just making assumptions here. But if that like is Judge in the cover page silhouette, he looks like Shiki, bro. He kind of looks like Shiki.
Yeah, and I was thinking Caesar looked like Kanjuro a little bit. Like, I mean, but it's just a silhouette. But like the way the shoulder,
hunchback, the cleft chin. He kind of looks like Mandark.
Oh, that's a good. That's
he
a
looks
good
like
reference.
Mandark, bro.
Interesting.
From,
I was gonna say,
Dexter's Lab.
What if he doesn't have his devil fruit there, and that's why he's just goofy looking?
No shoal, no floating, no like gas around him. Like, this is like pre devil fruit, pre 4Kids Judge.
Interesting. What if Caesar's fruit is Vegapunk's first like Logia?
That would be kind of cool. Oh, wait. What if Caesar's fruit is actually artificial? Like, we're
like
crazy
completely
now.
artificial.
What if it's artificial and it's just to make him look better because he was so ugly?
Oh my! I don't know about looking better, but like,
wait. What if Caesar's actual form is that, and this is like his gas, like making his real, like, a different face?
Yeah, like, we don't know what this the horns are. First of all,
yeah, he has like sheep horns or something, but he's human though.
Yeah, which is weird. Like, because I made an Oni video recently.
He's not a mink.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me like, what about Caesar's horns? And I'm like, yo, what about Caesar? Like, let's forget about this dude.
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about Laser Loun too much, bro.
Yeah, we can move past. If he's important, Oda will make him important. We'll just wait for that, right?
But yeah, no, I think he's important. Gastino, Gangster Gastino is always gonna be important in my heart, bro. He's such a great character.
Not Laser Loun. Gangster Gastino though, he's up there.
Yeah, Langster Lastino. All right, so on to the chapter though. We start off with Pythagoras, and I thought this is so funny because just last chapter we had Shaka saying, okay, we're gonna go to war, all hands on deck, let's turn him away. And then here we have Pythagoras, like, essentially being the nice guy here, saying, hey, Cipher Pol, thank you so much for coming in. Come again next time. Can you just leave Bear here? He can definitely make his way back home without you guys.
I said he was like a call center. Like, he was an Amazon call center. Like, thank you could you just make your return, please, and head on out? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah. He's just a really nice guy. Pythagoras is sweet, but it obviously doesn't work. And Lucci is like, wait, did they notice? Like, do they have suspicions that we're here to kill them? Bro, they destroyed the sea beasts. Like, Lucci, like CP0, they came in firing. What do you mean, is he suspicious? like, I'm not even joking. Like, last chapter,
I was confused
whenever we
about
saw
that.
them, boom, Sea Beast dead. Oh man, they gave us quite the welcome here, you know, cracking their knuckles. And then now they're like wondering if Vegapunk knows that they're hostile. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, when I read that, I kind of like, you know, some things, if you guys see my live reactions, I take a decent while to read, but apparently I'm like clockwork, which we just found out. But like I stop and I look at things, I talk about them, but and think about certain things. But this one in particular, I was just like, I'm just gonna breeze by this because I just feel like that's such a weird line. Like, there's nothing to really say about that because, like, why is Lucci, like you're saying, like Lucci should like what do you mean he has the suspicions? Like,
he's the world's smartest man, bro. Come on.
Yeah, like you're just a bad assassin. Like you rolled up and like you had the pawpaw fruit. Apparently, bro. Like, wait, can we talk about that? He had the pawpaw fruit the entire time.
He walked up the front door.
Yeah, and then he's like, you know what? I guess you gotta use the pop. Why didn't you use it from the...
Yeah, why? And the thing is, you could say, oh, maybe we can't pawpaw Bro, we pawpawed everybody. We had fodder on the island by this chapter. You had no reason to, like, walk up with the ship. Maybe he thought Vegapunk wouldn't suspect him, and maybe Vegapunk would meet him at the front door. You know, like, hypothetical. Like, I am vouching for CP0. They're not that incompetent, I would like to hope. So maybe they were hoping to get the warm welcome and Vegapunk would greet them with open arms and then boom, Shigan. Like 6 Shigans is game over.
So to give the viewers some context, if you don't watch my live streams, which a lot of you guys don't because, you know, these videos pop off, my streams don't pop off as much. But the point is, at the end of the stream, we uncovered some massive L's for Lucci. And that was the wavelength we ended on, and I didn't think that we'd start off the chapter continuing to add the L's.
It's painful. Lucci is like the son I don't have because I love his character and I wish him the best, but unfortunately he's a bad guy. He's pre-time skip and just everything just doesn't look good for him. So as much as I want to vouch for Lucci, I just can't. Like, I'm trying,
like, you guys, like, Sai, you know me. I try my best to defend, like, things, like, you know, when people have, like, oh, this is an awful thing. Like, I'm just, like, I'm trying to find a way to justify this. Maybe the officials fix it, but I don't see, like, you've seen the Raw's other translations. That this is essentially what's being said here, right? Like,
no, it is 100%.
Yeah, so it's like that's not exactly a warm welcome. It's like, wait, where's the whole point of you guys trying to assassinate?
I translated this entire chapter myself from the Raws. I know this is accurate. This when the Viz comes out, it's gonna be pretty much exactly the same.
If you guys didn't know, I may be Morge, but I have Stephen Paul right across the aisle from me right now. I'm telling you, translating.
We're giving you the play-by-play, bro. And the thing is, bro, is like, he's like, hey, he has suspicions. Woo, that's weird. And then Kaku's like, hey, like, Kaku, he's trying to play the part, bro. He's like the lost maiden. Like, can you please help us, guys? It's not warm here. I'm super cold, man. CP0 ain't paying the bills. I can't afford a jacket. Can we come in for some tea? And I think the tea comment is very fascinating, because it's so specific in a way. Like, he could have said, give me a heater, give me blah, blah, give me coffee. But he said tea. And Brook and Zoro are currently drinking some tea. So we had a fateful meeting at the end of the chapter with Luffy and Lucci. Is this setting up Kaku and Zoro to potentially meet up again? I hope so. Because comparatively to Lucci and Luffy, Zoro and Kaku had a decent relationship, right? That was a fun fight. They laughed together, or Zoro didn't really laugh, but Kaku laughed a lot. And then at the very end, he's
was
like,
he laughing at Zoro or with Zoro?
he was laughing with Zoro.
Oh, with Zoro.
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Because like he had the pasta machine ability, and Zoro was like, "What are you doing? Like, this isn't a meme." And then at the very end, they had like a really heartfelt moment where Kaku like gave him the key, saying, "Hey, do you think I have a place to belong here? Can I go back to the galley lay?" And then Zoro's like, "Well, I mean, the zoo's open." So
wait, this did that happen?
No, yeah, that happened.
No chance. All right,
because
I can't tell if
Zoro's final lines to Kaku, like, no joke, were, by the way, the rope guy said you're fired, and then Kaku's like, what will I do then? And then Zoro says, well, the zoo's open.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so I really want to see them interact again. Like, even if they don't fight, like, I'm a solid advocate that Zoro and Luffy shouldn't fight CP0 just because it would be one-sided.
Oh yeah.
No matter how strong Lucci or Kaku got, there's no way that they are Kaido and King level, respectively.
Absolutely not.
So I just want the interactions more than anything.
Yeah.
That is what I want. This is kind of like fanfic, right? Where we're entering the realm of fanfic at this point. Like, we're not here for the fights. We're here for them to, like, laugh with each other and make little references that we, the audience, know of and we laugh at. And we point out saying, hey, they did the thing. You know, Zoro asked if the zoo's okay.
So Kaku gets like slashed, and you know the typical like Pokemon, like, you know, everyone's on each side, their backs to each other, and you're just waiting for one of them to fall over. And I remember in the anime, I'm like, this is a Pokemon battle. This is Charizard versus Mewtwo type of, like, I mean, that's not a thing, but like that level of craziness. And then Zoro, as Kaku falls, he lands, he slaps the ground. Zoro says, I've got a message from the young leader of Galila. And then Polly says, if you meet them, tell them you guys are fired. Wow, that was a really good progression of the panel.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
Yeah, and then he says, Polly said that? Oh, what a mess. They say assassins can never find other work. Oh, that's cool because, you know, Zoro technically. And then Zoro says there's always the zoo.
Yes, dude. I want Zoro to see Kaku just to ask him how the zoo is going. Like a one-liner, bro. A one-liner. Zoro, like, I'm waiting for it.
And
like,
Kaku laughs. He's smiling and he says,
smiles.
ha ha ha.
He smiles and he takes the key out. Like, they had more of a, I wouldn't say kinship because they're not like friends, but they had more of a connection. Understanding. Like, they're both different sides. They both have to fight. It is what it is. And then they're respectable. They are respectable when they lost.
Right.
That's why I want to see that interaction. You know, this is going to be blasphemous to say. I almost am looking forward to that more than Luffy and Lucci.
Yeah, like, I was going to ask you about the Kaku thing because I didn't remember, like, you know, maybe this is crazy, but I don't remember Kaku's personality being so jokingly like I remember his introduction when he like ran across Water 7, flew, and he was like super serious type of thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of exposition of his character himself, I guess we'd get the real Kaku within Eni's lobby before the fight and before the Straw Hats get there when they're talking. I don't remember it being like this, and I like it. And I agree with you. I think Zoro Kaku is an interesting one because that is a fight that is so memorable that I remember like one questioning, like I remember watching that on TV and thinking like, bro, if anyone came in and saw me watching like a swordsman fighting a giraffe,
you'd be
like,
naked.
Sure, that sure. They would question, what the hell am I watching, right? Like, what is going on? And I'm like, bro, this is peak. Trust me.
It's a man fighting a giraffe. Trust me, guys.
Yeah, trust me, right? And it's like, it's so memorable and it was so cool. And that's when we got Ashura and so many memories around that thing. The Usopp gag.
Pasta machine.
Like, yeah, like there's so, like you're saying, there's so many things. Like I want to reread it, go back. And I agree, like these moments that Oda's putting in, these small things from Kaku, are making me really interested. And here's I'll ask the question later on. I'll ask the question as we go through more of the chapter.
All right. So with that being said, we'll progress through the chapter. So we have Lucci mentioning something quite interesting, saying, Dr. Vega Punk, I presume. Have you heard about the disappearances at Egghead? And he mentions that a CP5 vessel went missing, CP7 vanished as well as CP8. And here's the thing, because this could go so many ways. This could be Lilith destroying the ships and pretending that she's innocent. This could be ships actually going missing because maybe they discovered something unruly. But Pythagoras doesn't seem like the one to lie. He literally said, I saw them off. So could this be somebody else destroying these ships? Or is this CP0 fabrication? Because we know that they, tend to lie and stretch the truth to fit their narrative and to give them reasons to assassinate and do their missions. So where do you fall on this? What do you think is really happening here? Is there some truth to this disappearance?
Well, I think we hit the part where later in the story where I can mention start mentioning the things where I think on top of what you said about Pythagoras, right? Like is that really true? Like again, like from everything we've seen, he's just a straight. I mean, we haven't seen a lot, but he feels like the straight shooter. Like why would he lie? Seems very on the table kind of person. And Lilith even, right? If she were the one doing it, why wouldn't she take credit for it? You know,
she'd be like, "Hey, I'm evil. Like I destroyed the ships. I did
like
it.
You bet I destroyed your ships. Like,
woo, you should have seen them in flames.
Yeah, you should think twice before you bring them back. Like that kind of thing. Like, and that's gonna happen
Egghead
to you
Island,
guys too.
I hope you like it hard boiled.
Yeah,
because those ships got cooked.
Exactly, something like that, right? And so now Oda introduces an element here that is foreign to the Vegapunks and foreign to the CP0. And sure, it could be the CP lying, but I also feel like that's a genuine thing too, because we're given a timeline. Wasn't it? It said like in the last 2 months. So we have to ask ourselves, what happened?
It's the lurking legend. It's the lurking legend of Wano. It's the lurking legend of Wano. He's finally coming into play. It's happening.
The lurking legend.
Wait. Random tangent. Has the lurking legend ever been confirmed? Who is that?
I think we were supposed to assume the lurking legend was like Zunisha, Kaido, or Joy Boy or something, right? Because it was before Wano.
One of those three, like multiple choice.
Yeah, because like it was said before Wano, right? Like
it was said before Wano that there's a lurking legend besides Kaido.
Besides Kaido, so isn't Joy Boy a lurking legend? And that name was said, right?
Big Mom is a lurking legend too, right?
Yeah. So I feel I
wish they said it. Like whoever is the editor of that and who did that interview, fired. Yeah, I mean, gone.
What was that line like? That line that the Gorosei said. There's like, what that's a legend, right? Like they said something like that, and then
they said that to Joy Boy, yes, or Sun got Nika's fruit.
Yeah, well, so they said it like it was the panel like 1037-ish, the bottom of it, Zunisha's face there, and they're like, "What? That fruit hasn't awakened in 800 years. It's a legend, even for us." And then like that's the word, the legend. And then what was that legend? It was the Gear 5 awakening Luffy. Nika.
Yeah, I'll take that answer.
I think that's what it is. I know I've explained that to some people and people still don't accept that, but I'm like, yo, I don't care to like continue caring about this like rumor that some editor made.
And the thing is like it's a comment an editor made. Like those guys are, I wouldn't say wishy-washy, but they're making comments of arcs that that haven't happened yet, right? Like like you said, they made that comment before Wano was even started.
Yeah.
So Oda could have taken some liberties in those like 3 or 4 years and changed some events. So the lurking legend comment, hit or miss.
Yeah, and so lurking legends aside in this situation though, they gave us a timeline, which I thought was crazy, because if you use that timeline, then the timeline is like Reverie then, right? Because Wano, or is it Dressrosa? Is
no,
2 months ago?
This is Reverie, because they stayed a week in Wano after they defeated Kaido, and then leading up to it, they spent a couple days before the raid started, and the Reverie happened like at the start of Wano.
Right. So then all of Wano would be about 2 months, because like the first bit of Wano, right, all the way up to Act 3, then in between that and the raid, there was like a few weeks, and then the raid was a day, and then after that there was like 2.5 weeks off the top of my head. So that's about 2 months. So then it makes it sound like something after the Reverie, boom. So is it like the Revs are involved? It doesn't seem like it, but there's something there. Question is like, this ties back to something that we were talking about last chapter, actually, which is confusing. It is confusing. I'm not saying it's without holes, but remember how we were talking about how based off of what Vegapunk said, which is interesting because of the chapter, this chapter, but based off of what he said to Luffy, it felt like Lucia was going to happen to Egghead. Like they were something like to the island was going to happen. And the implications with that logic was that, so then if that's the case, then why send Lucci? Why send Kaku? Why send the CP0? If not to
why send CP5? Why send CP7, 8?
So and if it's not to send them to do something and then erase them and make them implicit, well, what's happening to CP5, 8, the other one, whatever, 7.
If
it's not Vegapunk and if it's not CP0 and there's nothing else there, like, is it what's it called? Like the same thing that causes Lucia, are those people being erased as well? Because if they're interacting with Vegapunk, maybe they learn too much and then they get erased. Maybe they die. Maybe they get removed. Like, in terms of erasing people, making things disappear, whose MO is that? That's none other than the world government, right? I don't want to bring out the Scooby-Doo kind of like detective here.
Who's under the mask, bro?
Yeah, exactly. But like, we just use ABCs here. Nobody else out here making people disappear besides, maybe Caribou, but he was with the Straw Hats. And then the
Caribou.
other option while I was talking was like, we do know Blackbeard is in the area, and there is part of his crew that is unaccounted for. Are they like
that
coaching?
Is a good one. Blackbeard's a good option because his crew is always like separated, right?
And Cipher Pol, they're a great resource to take, right? So maybe it is Shiryu and Luffy who are taking out these ships, and he has the invisible fruit too to make them disappear. Like, there's so many different ways that concept can go too.
The ships went missing. They didn't turn up dead. So what if he actually kidnapped them like he kidnapped Kobe?
Possible. It's possible.
It's possible. Yeah, no, this is interesting. Like, I'm almost like, out of this entire chapter, this is the thing that almost interests me the most.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't expect
such an interesting dialogue exchange.
You know what I said in my live stream? I was like, the numbers in between 9 and 0 matter now? Like,
yeah. Hey, don't forget about Wanze. Wanze, what is it? Boxing Jerry? Like, you
remember Boxing Jerry? Who is that?
Yes, dude. The CP agents are not fodder. These guys are strong.
Guys, rewind, go back to last 2 weeks ago.
These guys are powerful. Let me tell you right now. Boxing Jerry is the strongest boxer in the South Blue.
Oh, wait, is that Oh, that is. I remember that.
That is canon.
Oh god,
yeah, he is the strongest boxer in the South Blue.
He's not even masked.
Dude, Wanze could control ramen noodles. Not even a devil fruit user. Let me tell you right now. These guys do not sleep on them.
I call them devil seed users. If you guys don't know what devil seed are, come to my channel.
We even had a CP4 agent who were twins.
What does that have to do? Why did you went best boxer South Blue, controls ramen noodles, twins? What was the twins? What was the parallel?
Twins are strong. If you watch the One Piece filler where they fight Don Appuccino or whatever his name is, the twins had a magnetic pulse that connected them. Twins are strong.
Technically, that's why Den Mushis are snails.
Wait, really?
Do you know this? So there was this long time theory that if a snail falls in love, and you separate them, no matter where in the world you put them, they would go towards each other. And that was a long running like idea theory, like a grandma's tale or whatever.
A grandma's tale,
yeah. So that's why Den and Mushis have that connection. Apparently, is based off of that thing.
Is that like true?
It's not true, but that's what they believe.
I mean, like true for Oda. Like, has he stated that?
I think there was I have to double check. The One Piece wiki I think cited an interview. I think, and you know what's actually interesting? If you guys don't know the Hidden Island, he went to Japan and he interviewed a Japanese native reader, and Oda apparently goes on like radio shows and podcasts all the time, like and tells them a bunch of things that we never reaches us because it never gets translated. But so they have a whole like library of information Oda's just out there giving to the Japanese audience. You just got, if you're listening, and so he told Hidden a bunch of details that were like, wait, what? That's so game changing, based off like his hometown and other things, and Hidden's learning Japanese so that like, and then eventually maybe we'll be able to translate all of those interviews, because
that'd be so cool. That makes sense though. Like, if I ever had a book, the first people I would tell the ending to are my neighbors, bro. I'd be like knocking on the door, be like, hey, by the way, this person dies at the end.
Why your neighbors?
Hey, in my close circle, bro. That is my Japan.
Your neighbors are your close circle. Like,
Yes.
so like you got a new place, you moved in, you're like, hey neighbor, here's a cake. By the way, here's my One Piece YouTube channel, and here's the ending of One Piece. Like,
Yes. You know, honestly, I don't tell people I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, you don't?
No, God,
Huh.
no. No.
No, that's fair. That I mean,
I don't know.
neither do
I don't like the stigma of it, right? Like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I do YouTube and I work a couple days a week and whatever. But yeah.
To be fair, I do the same, but my wife and my brother out me always. I'm like, yeah. Like, my brother said, like, he's a marketing specialist, which, you know, a lot of my community would agree with like, you know, making like Vanderdecken is a mushroom, Mihawk is a sword, made that marketable. But yeah, so back to the thing where it's like, I think that Den Mushi thing is more important than we realize, because when we get to the punk record stuff and all that thing, we are getting to a place where like telepathy and like communicating from a distance is important. And
the mind rope.
When you think about, and I don't think that many people talked about the realization that, like, you know, punk records. So I made a video, we talked about it a little bit about how if punk records exist in this time, maybe there was a punk records version in Void Century. And then a remnant of that could just be the Den Mushis, who have the capability of connecting to this unknown network across the entire world. How do they do that? It's like, you know, how many people, even you're like, punk records is the internet. Well, the Den Mushis have their own network, right? Like, they have their own Wi-Fi hockey, apparently.
They're crazy, bro. Those snails are nuts. Like, and like you said, it could be like the grandma's tale of snails communicating, or it could be like the albatross situation with is it an albatross? Morgans, Big News Morgans?
Yeah, albatross, yep.
Yeah, no, like where the birds didn't have to be explained until Big News Morgans showed up, and it's like, oh, okay, like I guess there is some lore to this.
Right.
So watch there be like a guy with a snail fruit. How did we get here?
How did we get here?
No, yeah, look, I'm looking at the chapter and I'm like, okay, CP0, CP8, 5, 7, snails. Like, wait, what? Like, I'm like lost for a second.
2 months, Blackbeard. We ended with Blackbeard. How did we get here?
I don't know.
If
like,
you know how we got here, comment.
Yeah,
comment.
How did we get here? Like, I just thought about that. I was like, yo, like, Den Mushi's aren't even in the chapter. Like, what is going on?
Oh, no, they actually are in the chapter. I was gonna in the very first panel. There's a Den Mushi.
Really?
Yep.
The first panel?
Yep. There's a little Den Mushi.
Oh, you're right. It's like a microphone. Yeah.
Yeah. But don't cheat,
fair.
guys. Comment how we got here.
Yeah.
Let us know.
If you recall how we got here, let us know.
Yeah.
I am lost.
Sai will only comment on those comments.
Yes. So moving on though. I don't know how we got there. I don't know how to continue that conversation with the chapter. You know, we get the revelation the Cipher Pol ships have been going missing. Lilith is upset about this, saying, wait, I didn't do that. What do you think we did? Come check it out. And we get something pretty funny. We get the Kuma Seraphim using the pawpaw fruit to send them onto the island. And at the same time, almost in tandem, we see the distorted, broken shell of a man, real Kuma. You're like caught in a loop. Real Kuma using the real pawpaw fruit to teleport himself and himself alone to an undisclosed location. And I tried to zoom in on the Kuma Seraphim's paws to see if he had the pawpaw fruit, but I can't see anything. It's definitely shaded out. So what do you think about this? Do you think it is a replica of the fruit? Do you think it is technology at its finest? What is your take on this? Because Oda is definitely playing parallels here.
Yeah, I think what we talked about in previous episodes is confirmed. Senior Pink probably doesn't have to die for this fruit to be extracted, though Kuma technically is dead from what we understand. I guess like maybe that line is just more meaningful, that like Kuma like is, like you said, the shell of a man, but there's like a drop of him in there where it's like, if it's Bonnie, if it's Dragon's Kid, if it's those specific things, that's when he comes alive. Other than that, he doesn't. but he's still here. The fruit is with him, and yet that Seraphim has it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think we've been getting the breadcrumbs that Vegapunk has been able to, surpass Caesar's Zoan's mimicry, and it went to the Paramecias and Logias, and I think this is proof in the pages that this is the case with Vegapunk.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that he recreated this. I mean, we know that it is based off of shockwaves. The Pawpaw Fruit can use and utilize shockwaves to hurt opponents and to send people to different directions. So it is something based in the realm of science in a way. So if he could just recreate this and, use it like the Kizaru laser, I wouldn't be super surprised. But yeah, I think that was really cool that they did like both Kumas teleporting at the same time.
Yeah.
I almost want to see a matchup in a way, like grandpa versus young kid, right?
I thought it was funny. I paused and laughed at this. Was like, when you see the Seraphim Kuma in the panels, it looks like he's photobombing and he was like Photoshop family member in the back of a picture, like in every single one.
He's so huge.
Yeah, he's huge. And that is what I was gonna get at, where it's like, I think what's even more interesting is that Oda chose to give the Seraphim the same ability that Kuma had, whereas we see Jinbei, though he doesn't have a devil fruit, he gave him the swim. Boa, we don't see the petrification. She had the Kizaru laser, but maybe she doesn't have that one. Mihawk doesn't have a devil fruit, maybe he gives him one. But it's like, I want to see, because now we know that there's S shark, S bear, S snake, right? And now it seems like we're gonna stick to the animal warlords, probably.
Yes, dude. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And so, but that's a good thing and a bad thing, because maybe that keeps out Buggy. Maybe that keeps out Law, because they're not.
Oh, no. S-Bug, bro.
S-Bug?
Yes. S-Bug. S-Croc.
S-Crocodile Flamingo.
Doflamingo. X-Gecko.
Yeah. Those are the animal ones. Those are the original animal ones, but Buggy technically doesn't fit. But that's what's funny, because I told you a theory. We didn't talk about it, but I paused and I was like, wait a second. Could that be the way it's revealed, that the specific thing? But then, like you said, the bug thing is an interesting one, S-Bug, which is even more interesting if that's the case. If because a lot of people have been thinking maybe there's a bug race ever since like the green blood, the lightsaber bug attractor thing. And a lot of people go back to Jaya when Luffy said the beetle was a treasure. He said that to Chopper or Usopp. No, Chopper, I believe.
He said that to Chopper, I believe.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I've been talking about Heracles, who's a giant beetle man with unknown origins. But the reason why I really
could be a guy that cosplays beetles.
Yeah, that too.
He's like the furry of the One Piece world.
But the reason why I'm drawn to that guy is because his name is Heracles, and there's a lot of Roman references coming in. I mean, one of the biggest ones is Romance Dawn. That's the word from Romans. So, I think there is. It's gonna be, going back to the Seraphim thing. It'll be interesting to see how Oda uses the fruit stuff, because, like, the mirror matchup thing. I personally am not a big fan of the mirror matchup trope where you get that and it's just like, the original versus the clone.
Yeah.
It's like overdone. It's hard to execute to make it super interesting, especially as like a side story too. Because at the end of the day, Kuma versus Kuma isn't going to be the main thing.
No shot that's a main fight in this arc. No way.
And then what? We put the Seraphim, Jinbei has a swim fruit, and so Jinbei is just gonna be land. He's handicapped on land, facing his child version of himself who could swim in water or swim on land, and it's just that low key, that is an interesting one. But then is that fight even gonna happen? You know what I mean? Because it's they're on the same side from what we understand, right?
From what we understand, they are on the same side. Luffy, the Straw Hats, and the Seraphims are on the same side. But like you said, it's not a fun anime trope. When I think
it's
of
hard to do
original versus clone, I immediately think of Naruto
Really?
Have you watched Naruto?
Yeah, I've watched Naruto.
Dude, do you remember like Might Guy versus Might Guy, 10-10 versus 10-10, Neji
Yeah.
versus like, bro, that was garbage. Like that is like I skipped those episodes. Like it was so bad.
The one I like and I always think about is the first Pokemon movie, Pokemon 2000. I don't know if you watched it. That one did it good, and because that one I liked it, and I was a kid, and maybe
that's a movie though. That's kind of cheating, right?
Yeah, but like
it goes outside the budget of a regular anime.
Yeah, but they did it first, and they did it good. They did it great, you know.
Yes.
And like that one, you know. But and then what you're saying is they did in the movie, but technically Mew and Mewtwo are that example, right? Like that's a story canon type of thing. Where
yeah,
Mew...
but they're different enough though.
Yeah,
they're not like original versus copy.
True. I would say Mew and Mewtwo would be like Seraphim, right? Like we made a Seraphim of Mew that was just a yoke jacked. I mean, a lot of people are a little sus about the hips on Mewtwo, but like, you know, like it would be like
hips don't lie.
if you took a young Jinbei and made it an older Seraphim Jinbei, that would be like the equivalent there, I guess, right? Oh, or you know what's actually, now that I think about it, Mew is technically Pokemon's Joy Boy. And Mewtwo is kind of the opposite. Whoa, that's kind of crazy. And people do think we're going to get a Nika Seraphim. I don't know.
I mean, well, I'm not on board with the Nika Seraphim just yet.
It's too expensive, right?
Too expensive. Like, he has no funds, bro. And, like, if Nika was the energy source for the Ancient Kingdom, then he would have figured that out when he recreated that fruit.
Right. And that's a good segue into the next part, but
the fruit has also eluded the world government for so many years.
True. But now he has him right in front.
It brings us to the next segment, though, which is where Vegapunk mentions that he wants to make a world where energy is free and available to everyone. And here's the thing.
I knew this is coming. This is
Nikola Tesla's dream, right? Oh, wait, what?
No. Keep going.
Okay. This is Tesla's dream. He wants to create a world with clean and sustainable energy. Cool.
Yeah.
I hate that you're crossing your arms. What is this?
No. Go. My arms aren't crossed. My arms are here. Go.
And with that being said, Luffy picks his nose, and that's exactly what Mr. 5 does in Whiskey Peak. And on to you, Par. What do you think about this?
Nah, you finish your thought. I knew.
No, that was my whole thought. I had nothing else.
Sure it was.
No, nothing else was in the chamber.
This is
a Russian roulette, and you pulled a blank.
You were gonna say, this is Nikola Tesla's dream, and that's why he died, and nobody likes him in the first place, and he had a stupid dream. That's where you were gonna go, and you're gonna say, who wants free energy?
No. Okay. Uno reverse. Nope, I was gonna go even further. You son of a gun. All right. If I had a golden coat behind me, I'd put it on right now. So, let me tell you, Par. I was researching Nikola Tesla, right? Because
I know a lot about. Hit me with it.
All right. So, this is a stupid dream. Free energy for everybody. Ridiculous. If I was the world government, I'd assassinate him too. Why not? But here's the thing. I was like, okay, Oda is obviously drawing parallels to the real world. So I started looking up how Nikola Tesla actually died. He died alone. He's a loner, 83 years old. He died to, carotid thrombosis.
So they say.
So they say. Obviously, he didn't die by that. I just made that word up. But he died. But here's the thing. In his final years of solitude, he has written a lot about a white pigeon visiting him on a daily basis, and that this white pigeon is almost like a lover to him. And guess what white pigeon made its way to Egghead Island? I am not joking with you, Par. Look it up. Google it right now. Type in.
I know it. They
type in Nikola Tesla. Type in white pigeon right after that. Article after article about Tesla and pigeons, bro.
I'm so.
Is this not Hattori?
I am upset because I thought you were gonna hit me with the things that I like. the way he died, what he was doing, like the kinds of things. Like there was reported one time that when he was pulling up his generator, he vibrated the entire town that he was in, that they thought there was an earthquake, and he shot the entire grid down because like of his mountain experiment or something like that. And then you went and pulled the most ridiculous detail out of this history. There's so many other things to talk about, and
the pigeon part, the pigeon.
I am mad at you because I feel like what. Okay. I think I understand some of the people who come on my channel. They comment like, I hate you. That's the start of their comment. And then I read more, and then they say, I hate you because I thought what you said was super dumb, and somehow at the end of it, you made me believe it. And now I'm mad at you because that shouldn't be a thing. And now I'm mad at you because there's no way you... Dude. Is that the thing? Is that the thing you were telling me about?
Yes.
All right, fine.
Look it up. So before the stream, I mentioned to Par that there was some really weird detail that I wanted to drop on him out of nowhere, and it is Nikola Tesla and a pigeon.
No,
a white pigeon. Okay, hear me out. Pigeons are great, bro. Pigeons are great, but for some reason, Nikola Tesla was the one person in humanity. Obviously, there's a lot of white pigeons, but he specifically wrote about a white pigeon in New York. I don't know if you live in the United States, but white pigeons are very rare here, especially in New York, where the gray pigeons have a monopoly on the breeding base. So the white pigeon comment, kind of crazy. It's going a little bit sicko mode.
Yeah, so they made a movie called The Prestige, and in that movie they included that detail with the pigeon, because I think they were experimenting with the pigeon and essentially cloning. That was the thing in the movie, that they said Tesla was able to clone people, and that's kind of crazy now that... Oh God, wait, there's so much I have to look at now for Tesla. See, the thing that I thought you were going to bring up, because I looked at a lot of Tesla's stuff. So the reason why he died, I'm going to go through it really quickly, is that he announced that he had the designs for a weapon that can destroy planes and ships. Yeah, from a distance, from very, very far, which would be an extension of what his what are they called, what is this called? Oh, my brain's not. You hit me with the pigeon thing. No, the wireless charging. There we go, wireless. Jesus Christ, my brain is broken because the pigeon thing. Okay, so he comes to New York. He comes to New York. He pitches the thing to the lead scientist of the U.S. military, the lead physicist. He tells that to the government because they were like, hey, yo, every government wants to know what Tesla made. And so the U.S. government, having the privilege to it, they were like, hey, let's talk about it. And then the person who actually was the person who interviewed him, and I think was like related and reviewed all of his notes after his death, was actually Donald Trump's uncle. Donald Trump's uncle was the lead scientist at the time. He's the physicist, and he was a genius apparently. And so he has all the stuff, and there was a lot of things relating, now that I think about it, because when you look at Punk Records, I think there was like a schematic that Tesla had that related to the
shape of it.
Well, he made a tower. He had like a tower idea too. I mean, I think the Van de Graaff generator was also like related to him too. So, that's kind of interesting with the plasma and that kind of stuff. I forget, but there's so many other things, but you broke me with that pigeon thing.
I like to imagine the family of Nikola Tesla's like, why is he trending? They're like, bro, why is this guy trending right now? Why is Nikola Tesla and a white pigeon trending?
Yeah, it's a One Piece. Oh yeah. My goodness.
And then they see a picture of Vega Punk with the tongue.
This is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that was another thing with Tesla.
You didn't know about the pigeon, right?
I knew about the pigeon. It was like one of those small details you don't think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hold on.
As long as I can keep you or catch you off guard, that's fine by me.
Yeah, you did more than that. Now there's a whole lot of things I'm looking up
so
now.
obviously Oda doesn't have to go directly parallel to the real world events. So I really doubt Vegapunk is gonna fall in love with the white pigeon Hattori. But if Hattori was the one who assassinated and killed Vegapunk, though, like in a major plot twist, that would be kind of cool. Like we come back to him, and then all of a sudden you see just a random guy with like a half pigeon hybrid form attacking Vegapunk. Kind of dope. Just gotta say it right here. But yeah, it's a theory that I really like. I do believe that at some point we're gonna get a
Hattori
animal that is a zoned person, and it's going to be a major plot twist. So if it is Hattori and CP0 does have this crazy leader in the form of him, that'd be cool.
Yeah. No, I we talked about the Rocks is Stronger thing that was birthed on our, collabs, more or less. And Hattori is the main contender for that logic, through and through. I mean, even Luffy calling him the pigeon guy, it's like, obviously it's a pigeon thing, but it's like, that's a gag that can mount to something more. And something, I forget what we were talking about in what context, on my live reaction. But again, something that I've been talking about is this idea. Okay, no. I think this might be the case. The idea that, whatever Vegapunk created now existed in the past to a greater degree. And clearly they were smothered out, they're killed, whatever. What if, we got Einstein here and all that stuff, and maybe it makes sense to make that person a person of the past as well. Past is the future. Maybe Tesla is the previous Vegapunk from the Void Century. Like, when we see whoever made all of that stuff, it might end up being inspired by Tesla. And the reason why that might be crazy is, what if Hattori is that guy and that was Tesla's pigeon?
That would be, yeah, like a pigeon that doesn't age.
Yeah, something. But like, because when we're talking about like, energy source, right? Tesla was died like never fulfilling that energy source thing. He was renowned for like having a way to like supersede anything Edison did. And for you guys who don't know, Edison, like General Electric is Edison. Edison made the grid of New York City, like the first like power grid essentially. And Tesla moved out to counter that and created a wireless energy. And it never came to fruition because one thing that happened, to give you guys a little bit of lore, a history, is that Edison was an inventor, but he needed money. And that money came from JP Morgan. And so because JP Morgan was a business person, JP Morgan actually like ran a huge propaganda campaign against Tesla. And so anything Tesla did, he made him sound crazy, like a madman, even though it wasn't that crazy. He like slaughtered him in the news anywhere. And that was the power of JP Morgan. And that's how Edison essentially got like a monopoly at the time, when he would have gotten a monopoly, but like electricity was magic at the time. Even getting Edison, they had to propose it to all the rich people, like, and they were like, light bulbs? We're just chilling with our oil lamps.
Oh, I have candles.
Right? Yeah, and so like that was already hard. And then now you have Tesla, who's out here like shocking things at a distance with this Van de Graaff generator. I'm like skewing some of the inventions here, but that was what Tesla's history was, that he was smothered out, deleted, and that's why the large conspiracy theory is that he was killed by the US government or a government to hide his death weapon Ray, which is like, the reason why when Sai said the pigeon thing, my mind was racing because all these details started connecting, where it's like the ancient weapons, like the creation of that, why were they called that? Did Tesla himself call it a death ray, or is that more propaganda to make him sound crazy, right? Maybe he had he proposed an energy thing, and then the news just said like, oh, he wanted to create a death ray, blah blah blah, we brought him here, and then oh, he died of mysterious circumstances.
But at the same time, we know that Shirahoshi is just an innocent girl.
Yeah,
like she's Poseidon, but she's just a person. And if we go back to what Shinobu said at the end of Wano,
yes,
like, ancient weapons are beautiful women. We have Shirahoshi, which, you know, I don't think she's a beautiful woman. I'm more into goth girls myself. But if Uranus and if Pluton were goth girls, then boom. We have ancient weapons that aren't really weapons, only if you use them the wrong way.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Because I think when you break it down, I think Tesla's dream might have been about free energy. So in terms of inherited will, Vegapunk having this inherited will, that makes so much sense.
Oh, if Tesla was a person in the Void Century, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the conversation, like, you know, oh god, this is
it's a big one. Like, there's a lot to unpack with Vegapunk saying this. But one thing is for certain, though, is that he's mentioning that he has a dream. And some people are joining the Vegapunk for Nakama camp. How do you feel about this?
Yo, I memed it. I did my typical thing.
It's a meme.
Yeah, like, I was just like, hey, this is Carrot, bye. This is Yamato, bye.
I still believe in Yamato. I just want to say it right here. I might be a lost cause, but I still think Yamato's gonna join,
and the community's gonna drink it up from this. But like they're straight just gonna start sipping the Vega Punk for Nakama juice. And I don't care either way. But obviously he's not gonna be Nakama. But we're gonna talk about it a way that makes sense afterwards. I think it's good. I think it's good regardless.
Yeah. So me and Par came up with a way where Vegapunk would join the crew, but not in a way that disrupts anything.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's clean.
So Vegapunk starts explaining his dream and how, you know, he's getting close to discovering the ancient fuel, which is weird that he's saying this because we knew about this. It almost feels like filler in the manga in a way, right? I mean, like it's like the anime having a flashback. Like, bro, we saw this last chapter. We saw this last episode. Like, yes, you're getting close to the ancient robot. Yes, you're getting close to the ancient fuel. Like, come on, tell us something we don't know.
Right.
So this is when we see an explosion, and then he's like, hey, in short, I know a lot. And they're trying to get rid of me, and CP0 is here. And we see CP0 has arrived. And they start to attack the citizens. They start to attack the weapons against them. And Shaka uses this opportunity to deploy S-Shark, S-Hawk, and S-Snake. And he's giving the lead of these Seraphim to Sentomaru. And this is so strange. I think this might be one of the strangest parts of the chapter, right? We have the disappearing ships, but we also have Sentomaru coming into play, who is supposedly the bodyguard of the Vegapunks, but surprisingly hasn't bodyguarded at all against the Straw Hats. A Yonko crew. Bro, I know Sentomaru knows that Luffy's an upstanding man. Mm-hmm. We saw this post time skip saying, oh, Luffy? No. He wouldn't recruit scumbags like this. He's different. This is not Luffy. He said that to Damalo Black.
Yeah.
So, of course, Sentomaru knows that Luffy is an upstanding character. So sure, maybe Sentomaru wouldn't want to guard Vegapunk against Luffy, but it still begs the question of where the heck is he? What are your thoughts?
I'm like, Sentomaru is a person, or maybe, because when I'm thinking about Sentomaru, there was a lot of thoughts, right? Because a long time ago, and I still haven't posted this video because a lot of things got push in the front, but like Sentomaru could be someone from Wano, right? Like, it's like the whole sumo stuff, and then like his thematic, and then he also knew
the
Rio.
Name even.
Yeah, and he knew Rio, which is the bread and butter of Wano. And it could be that he was like an isekai'd Wano citizen that should have been the Yokozuna, but like was way too strong and just got like, you know, put out. I like Sentomaru low key is would have been a huge asset against the Beast Pirates, like if you scaled him up and left him on Wano. But the other part of it is like, yeah, like him not being there was kind of weird. Like Randy Troy was like, where is Sentomaru? Why isn't he defending him? Like, why?
Where is Vegapunk's bodyguard? We met all of the Vegapunks, bro.
And like you said, like if he's something like to deploy and like something like that, could he be a clone? Could he be like a synthetic person? Because something I was thinking about is like his body shape. Is that like Kuma related? Maybe like it's not the same, but it's like a big, strong, burly dude. Like maybe it's related
the
to
seventh
that.
Vega Punk.
I honestly don't know, because it's like, yeah, like you said, he was introduced as the bodyguard, but it's like, where, why, how, like,
Where, bro? He's guarding nobody. Bro,
yeah, like
Atlas was killed, and Sentomaru isn't even here.
Yeah, like maybe it's just for the Einstein one, but it didn't. I don't know. It is. I agree with you that it's like a random thing, because like we didn't even need. Is Sentomaru necessary at this point? We're sending 3 Seraphims out there. Maybe they just handle the CP0. Is Sentomaru feels like overkill at that point. Like a Mihawk Seraphim is all right. I don't like a Mihawk Seraphim is at least equal to Lucci. Come on, right? Like, come on.
I would imagine so. And then the crazy thing with Sentomaru, like, sure, nowadays he might not be as strong as we think he is, but he's still the first character that introduced Rio, canon Rio, into the story. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah. So, he would be a good. Another thought was like OG Kuma could be on the way, right? And then his fruit goes away. Maybe Sentomaru gets the fruit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, instead of a Straw Hat getting it, maybe Sentomaru for Nakama? Question mark? Yo!
Oh my, no,
Hit me with that.
I'm not for that. No. Get me off of this. Ending the video.
No.
Thank you guys
Real
for
quick.
coming out. Thank you guys for coming out this week. My name is Sai, and this is Morge. You want to shout yourself out, Morge?
Wait, real quick, Sai. Think
What's
about
up?
the idea that we're gonna say in a little bit. It would make sense if Sentomaru was there.
It would.
Yo, that's great. Okay, so let's continue the chapter and get there. Let's continue.
Sentomaru has control of the 3 Seraphims. He might be on the island. He might not. It's weird that we haven't seen him. And Luffy agrees and said that he will bring Vegapunk aboard the ship, but he doesn't say Nakama. He doesn't say friend. He doesn't say you're joining the crew. He simply says he'll bring him along. So it does kill most of the Vegapunk for Nakama theories. And he is now tasked with the mission of bringing Bonnie and himself up to the lab phase. And he ends up vanishing, which, you know, Vegapunk, a man beyond our years. We're not going to pay too much attention to that. And now we cut to CP0 and their antics, where they start attacking the space monster that we saw in the beginning of this arc, that Luffy saw. And we see some interesting traits. Kaku is being very goofy. Stussy, I guess, is playing the part of character that doesn't tell CP0 of the traps of Egghead Island until it's too late. And my take on this was that it was a gag. Yeah. She's being quirky. You know, Kaku's goofy, Stussy is weird, and Lucci is stone cold. But you had a very different opinion of this. And would you like to share that here?
Yeah. I think, like, you know, I went in more detail because, like, you know, I think what's also important with ideas is how you get to the idea. Because when you read this, it's odd because you land on the line where she says she's been here before. It takes me back. Yes. She has some kind of history with Egghead or Vegapunk. And that's not a necessary line, period. Like, we could have not had exposition on Stussy at all. But now Oda opened this window of sorts of, like, Stussy's backstory might give us some details. Why is that background important? And so before we talk about that, I think I agree. This is on the surface a gag, and it could be straightforward and be a gag. And the reason why that gag is, you know, a little interesting is because this is Vegapunk. Like, they're making light of Vegapunk. Like, they're tasked to kill Vegapunk. And like we talked about it earlier, they're assassins. They're not even being like sneaky here. And so, like, it could be the gag in the sense of, like, Stussy knows the extent of the traps and understands that Lucci and Kaku are strong enough to survive the traps, so they're not worth worrying about and warning them. But it is Vegapunk. It is a little weird. And then you add that line that she has some kind of history here, where we just got earlier that Vegapunk is against the world government like in the totality of it. He is aligned with Dragon to a certain extent. And that was from 22 years ago or 20 years ago. And he knows who CP0 is, to the point where they're not welcomed here. Their ships are disappearing. He's redirecting them to another island. He's not friendly. His backstory shouldn't be friendly with Cipher Pol. And then Stussy is familiar with him. And on stream was trying to figure out how Stussy would do that. We even kind of went back to Whole Cake Island to try and quickly figure out, but I'm going to spend more time to see that. And the larger point is that it could make sense that maybe Stussy is a double agent of some sort, where she's withholding this information to subtly sabotage the CP0 or stall them so that Vegapunk can escape and get away safely. So she's there because Kaku, like Stussy being with the Kaku Lucci duo on its own is really weird, right? Why not Khalifa? Why not Bluno? Like the people that were already duoed with them. Sure, we add Stussy, and she has a history on Whole Cake Island, which I'll dissect. But the double agent for who? Maybe it's for Vegapunk. Maybe it's for the Revs. She is an information, like she's touted as an information hub. Who else is known as an information hub? Vegapunk. So maybe Stussy has been feeding Vegapunk information this entire time. Maybe that's why he's not super afraid of them and maybe afraid of something else. I feel like there is, again, a window. Not saying the window's open yet, because it's just one line and it's just a gag at the moment. But I think at the minimum, we should be watching Stussy a lot more carefully moving in with the arc. Because when the other reason why this makes sense is because how many people, I don't care if you're a Lucci fan, you are delusional if you think that Lucci is an antagonist that fights Luffy at this point in the story and gives him trouble. That puts him above admirals at that point, right? Above
admirals, like near Kaido level.
Yeah, and that doesn't make sense.
It's hard to say that that's what Lucci will fulfill.
And so it makes more sense that this arc is more complicated than it would be being straightforward. I mean, we're dealing with Vegapunk here. Nothing is straightforward with this guy. So it makes sense that the plot will take twists and turns. And I think a detail like that from Stussy, like why include her? Why have her say that? I think it opens a possibility that she is a double agent. Maybe, again, Vegapunk is one, but it could also be the Revs too. It could be the Revs, and I don't know where that would go and how that would go. But again, I think if you guys are interested in the idea, I would look at Whole Cake Island, because that's when we got the most details about Stussy. Maybe she said something. Maybe the box that she was trying to get wasn't for the Gorosei or the Celestial Dragons. Maybe it was for Dragon. I don't know. Like, who knows? And that's another thing. She was an emperor of the underworld, not just a CP0 agent. Oh, that's where the triple agent comes in. She's an emperor of the underworld and a CP0 agent. And so then you would be adding another perspective on that. On top of being an emperor, she was the queen of the pleasure district. Being an emperor like that, like you are in so many worlds. Look at Doflamingo, right? Look at all those other people. They have connections to Big Mom, to Doflamingo, to so many other things. So why not Stussy as well? Even Lucci touts that. You're as well versed as ever, Stussy, right? That's her thing. I wouldn't be surprised. We talked about a random 7th Vegapunk. Maybe Stussy's the Vegapunk. Like, I don't know. It's so weird.
And it's so funny because this chapter and this arc has been pretty straightforward, right? Like, everything that we get is answered in the next chapter. But in this chapter, we get a lot. Like, between the disappearing CP ships, all the way to Stussy being, like, knowledgeable about the island, like, we're getting some weird layers here that if Oda wanted to, he could expand upon. Yeah. And, convolute the story in a way, which I'm excited for. And I hope is the case.
Question. What mask is she wearing? That might be telling.
It's a fox.
Is it a fox? Because what are foxes typically
deceptive,
known?
Bro.
Exactly.
They are deceptive.
I mean, was she always attributed to be with the fox? Or is this the mask has never been given to Stussy, right? She's had like a normal mask, I feel like.
So I saw the mask earlier too, but I was like, okay, so if I give Stussy's mask a meaning, then I'm looking at Kaku's mask and saying, well, this guy's kind of like a three-eyed in a way, right?
Is that
like he has like a third eye in his mask?
No way. What?
He does.
Let me see.
He has like a slit in his forehead.
Is that the beginning or the? Oh, I see it. Yeah, the
in the middle.
Huh.
Yeah, so there's some interesting details in the mask. I think the only person whose mask is like very like non-detailed is definitely Lucci's, but he doesn't need a mask.
Lucci.
Everybody knows who he is.
I mean, when he fought, he didn't have the mask on.
Yeah, he literally took the mask off, bro.
Yeah, like throwback to Sai's rant last episode.
If Lucci takes off the mask, is he stronger than Kaku or is he weaker all of a sudden? That's the real question.
I don't know. We have to take that one to Oda. Go straight.
Yeah,
to
take
the
that one to Oda. Ask Oda if Lucci without the mask is stronger than Kaku with the mask. He'll give you a surprising answer.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to the final portion of the chapter where Atlas runs up and I don't know what Atlas is trying to do. Atlas tries to attack Lucci. And
Ultra Mighty Pot.
Atlas doesn't even land the attack. The Sixth King pistol absolutely destroys her like a Chucky doll in a movie. Like Atlas gets blown up, the eyes missing, the skin is cracked, and boom, we have Lucci in hybrid form, no mask on, using his pre-time skip strongest ability.
And
but
noteworthy.
Lo and behold, Atlas is still alive. Far be it for me to say that this is a devastating attack, but Atlas is still alive and kicking.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think off the rip, right? Like when I was reading this, there was two directions, two paths here. I think story-wise, and I can't quite put a finger on like which story would demonstrate this well. When you reintroduce a character into the story and they introduce themselves with their finisher, that could mean that that's their new foundation and there's a new ceiling to be had. The other option is that he's trying his hardest here and it's really disappointing and sad. And I was hopefully like hopium. I'm not even I don't even care that much about how see, for me, I talked about this. I felt like Lucci is in between. I think I said it right on call. Above Ulti, below King. Somewhere near the first commanders, obviously not like Kaido level. That doesn't make sense. And then, it makes it difficult because he was Luffy's opponent and Kaku was Zoro's opponent. But still, it's like Lucci does not make sense to put higher than King. If you think that Lucci could beat King, I don't know. I feel like here's an Zoro in Eni's lobby beats Lucci. Is that a thing? Like,
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's like he would lose, but it would be a tough fight, I think, right?
If Zoro were to go against Lucci in Eni's lobby, I think it would be a very tough fight.
And I do
think that Lucci would win.
Yeah. And so now current Zoro, that is not the case. I think it's completely flip-flopped in terms of like Lucci should run. And I was hoping that, hey, this is the new base, this new foundation for this Rokugan is what we're opening with. Oh, we're going to get the 16 Holy Light pistol. That's going to be his new ending because the 16 lights, I don't know. I was hoping. And then you came on the stream and hit me with the Kaku saying he's showing no mercy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
He's showing no mercy. And in a different translation, Kaku actually says he's going all out.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. So depending on how you translate it, it's either Kaku saying he's showing no mercy, or even worse, he's going all out. He's not holding back, bro. If this is all Lucci has to offer,
that is like the biggest L. Like I feel like
it's an L before we even start, bro. It is. What's the letter that comes before L? It's H, right? No, I.
HIJKLMNJK. K. It's K.
K.
Yeah.
This is the K. It's
This
not
is the
even an
K.
L. It's a K.
Oh God.
It's the K for King Pistol. This is how bad it is. And I want Lucci to put up a fight. I want at least a mid-diff fight. I am a Lucci fanboy. He is in my top 3. So deep in my heart, I am rooting for him. But as it stands right now, it isn't looking too good. It's like sending a son off to war, knowing that the death rate is 99%.
No, it's worse than that. Sending your like pet dog to war, bro. Like,
Dude,
like
yeah. It's like sending my cat to the woods, hoping that he'll bring me back a pigeon to eat.
anybody.
Like, it's not looking too good. The wolves are out. It's the full moon. The foxes are out. I live in Oklahoma. You know, the mountain lions are also out there. Grizzly bears are out there.
Yeah,
he's dying, bro. Like, it's not looking good at all.
Like, I think on top of that, I don't think anybody expected, and this is what's weird. And this goes to another L for Lucci, right? Or K, whichever one. But we'll talk about that in a second. Is the fact that he ran into Luffy immediately. And that's the one person, regardless of like people who thought that Lucci was going to kill Vega Punk, Lucci was going to do this and that. Bro, Vega Punk turned invisible and flew. Like, he's not catching that right now. And he ran into Luffy. I don't think anybody who thought that Vega Punk would accomplish anything had it in their cards that the first opponent he would run into is Luffy. That just makes no sense, and it looks so bad for him.
The entire time we talked about this, we said, yo, Lucci's gonna run into Zoro. Lucci's gonna run into somebody else. He's gonna run into Swords.
Usopp.
Anybody but Luffy, bro. Anybody but Luffy. And then what do we get this chapter? Luffy saying pigeon guy. Bro, those are the last words he's gonna hear. Imagine dying and the last thing you hear is pigeon guy.
You don't even get your name said, bro.
No, not even Lucci or nothing.
Tombstone is
not even CP0. Pigeon guy.
Yeah, the tombstone is gonna say Hattori. Like, it's not gonna even say his name. Like, the craziest thing, right, is like, what did people say? Give him 2 years. He's gonna be plenty strong, guys. He's gonna be strong.
He clashed with Sabo in a movie, non-canon, but it happened.
And he used his final attack. Kagu saying he's going all out, and he couldn't even kill Atlas. And Shaka said, "You have no chance, no chance." He couldn't even one-shot something that Shaka said would have no chance. So then, like, what are we saying about Luffy, right? Like, this makes no sense right now with what's happening.
Actual pain.
And we add the disrespect. Lucci's continuing to be disrespectful, and he should be running, right? Dude, you said that.
No, I mentioned it in your live stream. So in the final panels, we have Lucci in his, Zoan form. He has the blackened out eyes and whatever, shaded out eyes, and he's like, Straw Hat. And then Luffy is worried. Like, he has, like, little sweat beads coming from his cheek. And he's like, pigeon, yaro? Like, what's going on here? It should be swapped. Yeah. Lucci should be, like, sweating from the cheek. Be like, straw hat. Yeah. And then, like, that's not the case.
Wait a moment. CP0, they shouldn't even know that Straw Hats are here, right?
No, they don't.
So he should be more than surprised.
He
should have
he literally should be surprised.
Bro.
Like, bro, what if this is foreshadowing? What if Lucci is actually stronger and he's like, Straw Hat, another pebble on my road.
No, that's what he was like at Eni's lobby. Bro, at the end of Eni's lobby, Luffy got up 3 times from this move, and he continued to come up like a goddamn zombie and slapped his ass out of a tower.
Dude, you know what's worse? Now that I think about it?
What?
Dude, at some point before this, Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy got a report saying that 3 of their team members are probably dead. Dude, Yo. Your Negan got one
by Kaido, and Luffy beat Kaido. Oh no!
Dude, it's like me saying, hey, Par, the man dressed in red killed your family, and then you ran into the man in red. It's like, bro, like, dude.
And on top of that, like, just to say, fan fiction, my family's all stronger than me too. Like, why would I run into that?
Dude,
Like,
yeah, get out of there, bro. Like, what are you doing?
oh God,
I want, so deep in my heart, I want a mid-diff, high-diff fight, but I know that's not gonna happen.
and
Oda is unpredictable. Lucci being one tapped, like I made the reference. It's a Vandal in Valorant, 150 damage, full shield. It doesn't matter. You're getting one tapped.
right.
But here's the thing. This is so predictable. Everybody is expecting it. In my YouTube comments, 100% believe that Luffy is going to beat Lucci. I brought up the notion that maybe it's a mid-diff fight. And let me tell you, the amount of people who are like, no way. Like, I can't believe you would expect this. Like, no, it's going to be a one-tap. Like, there's no way in hell that Luffy's going to struggle against him. We all agree. I'm on the same boat. But it is so predictable that I feel like Oda has something up his sleeve to make this fight either hard on Luffy, or maybe this fight doesn't happen at all. I feel like it has to be one of those two. Where do you fall?
So on the mid-diff thing, right? So the reason why I compared Lucci to Ulti is because I think that's how the fight would be. Where Luffy fights Ulti in base and recognizes Ulti is stronger and he should go an extra level, right? We don't know how far he would need to go, but the point being that he could probably beat Ulti in base. He could probably do it, but it would be a dragged out fight and not be efficient of his energy, especially in the context of Onigashima, right? In like, if he pulled out Gear 4, it would be a mid-diff fight, right? Like, Luffy would slap the shit out of Ulti. And I think that's the same thing with Lucci, right? And that's the anime thing, because, like, something that happens at the beginning of arcs is Luffy is just weak for some reason. Like, remember Batman? I mean, like, that kind of gave,
Whoa, wait.
Is Lucci Batman right now? Like,
are you disrespecting Batman?
I mean...
So Batman had hockey arrows, and he was a Smile Dudford user. And he could also fly.
Yeah,
time.
Fair enough. And he was
Luffy has to go Gear 4 to fly.
And he could blitz Luffy. I mean, he was
a blitzer. Like, let me tell you right now.
Yeah, and
Batman was no joke.
And like, in that regard, I can understand the mid-diff thing, because if Luffy just doesn't go immediately Gear 4, maybe he struggles a little bit in base. But the thing is, he knows Lucci, and he knows like he knows what he's capable of. He's fought with him. He would give him the respect of fight. Like, imagine like Smoker, right? When Smoker came, and I brought Smoker for an important reason. When he fought Smoker again, but it was Tashigi, he beat her or him, and he was just like, he was disappointed in that fight. Is that the parallel that's happening right now? Smoker got reintroduced as one of the biggest L's of all time in anime. Is Lucci gonna take the throne as the biggest L reintroduction?
No. Okay. Here we
go.
No.
I want to hit on top of that. He beats actual Lucci, and then he's like, "Wait, that was disappointing. What happened, bro? I thought you used to be strong.
No.
You used to be strong. Yo, he's gonna hit him with it. Yo, tell me that's not gonna happen."
So it's like I have future sight, right? I have future sight. I know it's going to get destroyed. I know Lucci's going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
But I hope that it's wrong. I hope that I don't have future sight. But here's the thing.
There is another path.
Do you think Lucci is awakened?
Bro, what does that matter? I mean, look at his hybrid form. It's like... two shirt sizes smaller from the impel down.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, Morse, for joining me for this. Thank you for joining me for this video.
Yo, Lucci is so in such a bad spot.
I'm trying to save my man right now, bro. I'm trying to save the wildlife.
Let me add one more thing and then swap over to what I think will happen, because I think the path is Lucci's not gonna die. Because if he fights right now,
he won't die. No.
If he fights right now, he's dying. Like,
if Lucci gets defeated, he's not dying. Like, characters in One Piece notoriously just survive final blows. Atlas showed it this chapter. If Atlas can survive a 6-king gun, I'm sure Lucci can survive a hit.
6 kings, bro. Not even 20 kings. Not even 16 holy bullets. But so the other L for Lucci here, right? Is in the world of One Piece, when strong characters are around and they're using what seems to be like their highest ability. I mean, his best friend here explains that, right? He uses his finisher. He's in his hybrid form. He's in max stats right now. He took off his mask because he said, I need to see better right now, right? And we have this ability in One Piece called observation hockey, where in proximity to strong people, you sense it like, oh, there's a strong thing. You know what's funny? In Fishman Island, at the very end of it, observation hockey was used to sense a wild beast. And guess who it was? It was Caribou. So even Caribou at a distance triggered Luffy's observation hockey. But look how fucking far Luffy is from Lucci right now in this panel. And Luffy didn't realize Lucci was there. He was going to continue running until he said Straw Hat, and then he didn't even say his name. He said Pigeon Guy. Luffy's observation hockey wasn't even triggered here. That's how sad of a state it is. And so now let's get into the world where the future sight. We see this awful future for Lucci, right? Lucci is clearly brain dead, and he doesn't see that future for himself. But let me tell you, Lucci, you want the OG Kuma to show up. You want that guy to show up because he pod himself, and reasonably it would be to Bonnie or Egghead. And it's like the last thing was Lucci saying he's going to kill Bonnie. So maybe OG Kuma steps in here and he fights them off, installs them, and he dies to them, maybe, because he's in a sorry state right now, right? He's like broken, things are out, and that is what happens. Because I also asked my chat in the live stream, do you think the Kuma could beat current Lucci? And it wasn't overwhelmingly, but it was 70% in favor of Kuma. And, you know, I don't think Kuma would win without dying, but I think that's a better situation for Lucci. I would...
Yes. Lucci fighting anybody would be better than fighting Luffy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
would agree.
It has to be Kuma, because like when Lucci said what he said last chapter or previous chapter, Kuma activated. Bonnie is here. She's asleep. Luffy, it doesn't make sense for Luffy to fight Lucci. So it has to be Kuma.
If we're saying that Lucci, you know,
or
despite how stronger he's gotten post time skip, if he can't compete against Luffy, if you're saying that is true, then you're also saying that Luffy would still beat a post time skip Don Krieg.
Yo, honestly, Don Krieg might put up a tougher fight.
You're capping now. You're capping.
No, he at least has what, 50,000. What was his fleet? At least he has that. What is this? Fodder is running from a light hologram right now.
So, first off, he has 50 fleets under his command.
Oh, 50 fleets.
All 100 each. He has 5,000 people.
At least he has that.
Luffy made 50,000 people go unconscious during Fishman Island. Fishmen are touted to be 10 times stronger than humans. So Luffy should still be stronger than Don Krieg. Or his fleet.
All I'm saying, Sai, is Lucci. I don't know where we're putting Lucci, but he's not him right now.
It's looking bad. I'm not. Yeah, it's looking bad.
Which, you know, that takes us to the other thing where, like, you said this earlier too, where like Kaku, like the Zoro Kaku relationship, it didn't end on a negative light, right? Like, there's a window here, and this is a thematic with One Piece where the previous bad guys get reintroduced. Let's look at Impel Down. Crocodile ended up allying with Luffy under certain circumstances, right? The circumstances need to be important here. And
Luffy ends up assassinating Vega Punk.
Luffy ends up...
I know, I'm kidding.
But like, and so we talked about it again in previous things where it was like, you know, Vega Punk said that the island is in danger to something on the level of Ohara. One thing that not bothered me, but I was like, he didn't mention Leloucia. If he mentioned Leloucia, then I'd be full steam ahead with this idea. He mentioned Ohara, but Ohara and Leloucia get acclimated as a similar light of the island being destroyed. The reason why that's interesting is that would mean Vegapunk would need to leave the island, which is what he's asking. But if, let's say, because now we have a Lucia level scale thing, what if Lucia is going to happen to Egghead? And like we said last time, that would put the CP0 in an interesting spot where they would have to, due to the circumstances, be in collaborating with the Straw Hats to escape. It might be that they're like conflicting until they find out, and it's like the problem, the situation is trying to get Lucci to realize the world government doesn't care about him, which goes back to what we were talking about before. Whether maybe it's Blackbeard or maybe the CP0, CP8, 5, and 7 ships were disappeared by the world government, who, again, reiterating, they disappear everybody, right? That's their MO. And I think it would play better for the story if the lapdog of the Celestial Dragons and Kaku ended up turning in some capacity.
Save my men. Save Lucci, save Kaku. Bring them to our side. Lucci was already questioning the validity of Lucia and its connections to Vega Punk. If you're right, if the world government does end up turning its back on Lucci, then he might, I wouldn't say join our side, but at least find a common cause to survive with Luffy.
Yeah. And now this is the part 2 of what we were talking about. In the midst of all of this video, we were talking about this idea that actually started in the first chapter we landed on Egghead. You said something and it was born there and we added to this thing and it makes so much sense. Where the idea, right? I think more people think Vegapunk dies by the end of this chapter or end of this arc because he's too powerful, too smart. He could give every Straw Hat the information that they need, and it's like, are we going to continue the trope of like, I have all the information and all the answers, but I'm just not going to give it to you, but also be on the ship for your entire journey and just like be there? And then that also opens up the hole that will be very difficult to navigate as a writer, where if you have someone this capable, this smart, this much of a genius, then we would, every situation that we'd be faced with would be questioned by the community. Be like, why couldn't Vegapunk invent something? Why couldn't Vegapunk solve this problem? The same light as Chopper on Wano. Why didn't he at least address the citizens of Wano, right? Of the Smile users, right? Why didn't he at least address them? But with Vegapunk, it's even further because of how capable he is. He could solve every situation with just him.
The Punk Hazard kids, bro. Like Chopper couldn't even do that.
And so, you know, with that, it's like, okay, one thing about all of that is I actually, you know, I was on Volume 1 podcast earlier and they made me realize something about this situation. Was I said it and then they made me realize the context was that Vegapunk would have to die because even if he left, Punk Records is landlocked. It's not the Sky Island, it's that egg thing. And it would be weird to be transporting a giant egg dome thing. Like, that's weird on its own. Maybe we could. But what that opens up is that if Vegapunk leaves the island, he would probably, especially the main Vegapunk, it's like his brain isn't there. He would become essentially lobotomized. He wouldn't have any of the information from the Punk record. So the further he goes, the more disconnected he becomes, to the point where he would have no information. And that would become, one, a very important character to protect. Two, he would become a very good handicap moving forward for the Straw Hats because of how detrimental it is to protect him. Everyone would be targeting him, and the Straw Hats we know are super strong. So we go to the Giants and stuff like that. You know, protecting maybe it's not the Giants that are the antagonists, but Blackbeard. Protecting Vegapunk makes that whole situation way more complicated. And then what happened was that, you know, me and Sai were talking about this, is something that makes that even more interesting is an idea that Sai said at the very beginning. I forget exactly how you brought it up with the specific animal.
The recycle cur.
Yes. When we were introduced
it had its own box, right?
Yeah.
Like, we had Luffy meeting Atlas, we had Luffy like in the scrapyard, and then out of the blue, in the bottom right panel, we had a box labeling the recycle cur, an animal that didn't even interact with the Straw Hats. It had a name, It had a position, and it was there. What was the purpose? Didn't really serve one. So, will it serve something later? And Par had a amazing idea with that.
Yeah, is that like, it would be hilarious if Vegapunk, you know, like at the time, even from the get, you can go back to that reaction. We were thinking Vegapunk was gonna die from then, and that he would escape into, like, we thought like a USB or something, and then it's like, wait, what if he escapes into that dog, into that recycle cur, and it's like recycling Vegapunk, and that's the, like, if Vegapunk loses all of his brain, it would be fitting to put him into a dog that's just like barking all over the place on the Straw Hat ship, and they have to protect that dog.
If Vegapunk becomes the recycle cur, or if he transplants his memories into that dog, then it would give Chopper, who is the notorious pet of the Straw Hats, it would give Chopper an actual bounty in a different title, and Vegapunk would take over the pet of the Straw Hats instead. I don't know if that's gonna happen for sure, but I think that was a really cool idea.
And there's more to it too, and I feel like I'm gonna make a more fully fledged video for this. But on top of that, something Josh said from Volume 1 was like, if the world government does detain, because they said that they wanted things from Egghead, that's why they can't destroy the island per se, right? I think that was said at one point.
Yes, they don't want to destroy any of the research there.
Right. And so what is the research? The brain, right? So if the world government does detain that brain, we get a really cool situation where, because the way Vegapunk told us the punk record works, the antenna allows him to connect to it, right? How far that range is, we don't know. But if he loses that range, right? And then we're out and we're trying to like progress in the story, what would happen was, if we got closer back to punk records, he would reconnect to the brain and might be slowly reconnecting, and we'd be like, it would be like a pseudo log pose Viver card situation where it's like, are we getting closer to the thing? Where is it? Where is it? Where are they hiding it? Blah, blah. And it might be super crucial because a lot of people think that at this point in modern times, punk records might be used to communicate the void century and the knowledge to the entire world, because that is what he proposed for the future's use of punk records. And even more than that, what is really interesting is now what we talked about CP0's involvement here. Because if they were to ally with the Straw Hats to properly get out of the situation, their order was to kill Vegapunk. They could allow the Straw Hats to escape and report that Vegapunk did die. And that could be true. They could give Vegapunk's body while Vegapunk is in Recycle Cur. And so that could be the way that they collaborate in that situation when they realize that they are not on the right side. And obviously this is a huge like headcanon-y stretch, but you can understand the despair Sai had when Lucci was put in this situation. I think a lot of people are there too, where I don't think this arc doesn't make sense to go straightforward. It's a Vegapunk arc. Like, I think it makes sense to have plot
very
twists.
Straightforward up until this point, where at this point,
and except for Vegapunk,
like, hey, it is too straightforward that at some point there has to be a twist. There has to be something that seems like an Oda twist to us, and that's why we're coming up with these theories and we're coming up with these assumptions as well.
Yeah, because I think for example, I like that Blackbeard idea. I think like that was the reason why the CP0 ships. That's less complicated, but it doesn't fit in a grander scheme, right? Are we gonna have Blackbeard show up here? Like, is he gonna be more involved? Like that would I think we're in an Onigashima situation where before the raid, a lot of people thought there had to be a third-party intervention. And I said it time and time again, technically, Nika's reveal Joy Boy, to me, that's a substitute for a third-party intervention, because it's like nobody thought that was going, like, everybody thought Gear 5 was a thing, but nobody realized the gravity of Gear 5, that it just like be the way it was. And I think we're in that situation here, but for the opposite side. Like, Lucci needs that third-party intervention.
Yeah, Lucci needs a Sun God Nika fruit right now.
Yeah, like he needs somebody to tear things up. And is that Sword? Like, that doesn't make sense either. But
is it Hattori?
But like, truthfully, that is a factor that was being touted to be here, right? That that Helmeppo wanted to come to Egghead to get the Seraphims so that he could go to Blackbeard and recapture Kobe, right? It's not a direct line, because what would Helmeppo and Hibari add to this, right? Like, they would just be more like fodder in the mix, right? Like, I'm not expecting
them to be super strong.
Like, Helmeppo fighting Kaku is just crazy, right?
Yeah, swordsman versus swordsman. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like there is something there amongst everything I said and we talked about and we felt like the recycle Kurt. That's an interesting detail. What Stussy said. That's an interesting detail. I think, like you're saying, it is a straightforward thing, but we have been getting like, wait, what about this? Wait, what about that? Like, what are we doing here? You know, like a bunch of random things.
Small points that could or could not play an interesting role in the arc.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I don't even know what we could easily just be wrong, and the next chapter Lucci is just dead, bro. On his tombstone, he says "Pigeon Hero."
It's funny because we came into this chapter saying, "Oh, this is straightforward. It's simple. It's whatever. We'll knock this out in like an hour." And then here we are talking about this chapter for almost 2 hours, even.
Yeah, we brought up Tesla.
There's a lot here.
We brought up Pokemon, Tesla. Damn, we brought a lot of conversations
Pigeons.
here. Yeah. Oh my god, the pigeon one broke me. Okay, so you at the very beginning, you're like, I should have briefed you about the Morge thing. That's something like you were like, I want to surprise you. That was like
the pigeon
that was like
and Tesla
Saul
thing,
being
kinda
alive.
Crazy. Pigeons are gray. Nikola Tesla saw a white pigeon instead. All I gotta say.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Par, do you want to shout yourself out one last time before we head out, or do you have any closing thoughts on this chapter?
I will say that if you want to find the true history of the story, look no further than Shaka himself.
It's logic talking to you right now. It's not ParVision. It's Shaka.
Yeah, and so if you want to see my channel and see more of my ideas, where Shaka, technically is in my basement it's Shaka and Oda, guys, in my basement feeding me my theories. It's not me. In this entire time, this earpiece was feeding me the theories. All the stuff that you guys heard today, not me. It was my clone feeding me from Punk Records. But and if you enjoy the conversation and you're not sub to Sai, because I think everybody just forgets to sub sometimes, even though if they might watch you weekly, sub to Sai. And if you enjoy the conversation and the perspective here, come to my channel. We got some we cooking over there, and this theory is gonna get fully fleshed out. There's a moon theory. Moon is the brain theory. There's a few ones that are fun right now. Then I think the next one is a buggy video, and so that one's a
I'm buggy excited. Could be a thing.
Yeah, and hey, S-Bug is a possibility, but another possibility might be portrayed in that video, and I'm not going to include it because it's already recorded and stuff like that. My YouTube members already watched the video or heard the video, but yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like always, the chat's always great, and I do always miss you guys during the break week. So thank you, Sai, again. Always enjoy these.
Anytime. And thank you guys for watching up until this point of the video. We will catch you guys next week because there is no break week, so we'll go straight into 1069. 69, funny number.
This video is sponsored by the number 69.
Yeah, sponsored by 69. Catch you guys later. Thank you very much.